Kansas State, Texas. The Longhorns win 33-30 in overtime, and the fourth quarter of this game was insane, Ted. Insane.
It was wild. I had one eye on it in the booth up there while our game was going on. I guess the fourth quarter was as we were gearing up for kickoff, and then the overtime was as we were just getting underway, and it was wild. Kansas State came roaring back and choked down the stretch. I missed an extra point, missed a chip shot field goal inside the 10. It was crazy.
So Kansas State turns the ball over a couple times coming out of the half. Jonathan Brooks makes him pay, scores a touchdown. They add another field goal. It was 27-7. It was over. And then stuff got weird. Phillip Brooks scores the touchdown at the end of the third quarter. Maalik Murphy mindlessly throws an interception on a screen pass where the running back doesn't even get out on the screen. K-State scores.
Very next
Jonathan
play.
Brooks fumbles.
Wasn't on the very next play?
Yeah, K-State scores again, and all
on
of a
the
sudden,
first play. There was one point where it flashed up a graphic in there, and it said Kansas State has scored 3 touchdowns on their last 4 offensive snaps.
It was an all-time meltdown for Texas.
Yep.
But K-State's kicker he choked, but then he redeemed himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He yanks I think it was a 27-yarder, and then buries the 45-yarder to send it to overtime because, of course, kickers, right? But when Texas kicked that field goal in the first overtime and K-State had it there, what was it, first and goal at the 6? I thought there was no way that K-State didn't win that football game.
No. I did not like the play call. And they were a little, they had been having their success kind of when they have Texas on their heels a little bit. And there was a review on that exchange, and it all had just kind of slowed to a halt. And Will Howard just, they tried that little, it's similar to our fourth down play. I know it wasn't a sprint out, but it was just a little out route to the tight end, and he was covered, and there's nowhere else to go with the football after that. It's like, what do we do now?
The second down play, they had second and goal. They run the jump pass, or like he's faking like he is going QB power.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 guys all open in the end zone, and the ball gets tipped. It was just, brutal. But what did you think about Chris Kleiman going forward on fourth down there? 4th and goal, game's on the, you tie it, you send it to another overtime with the field goal. What did you think about that?
As they were walking, I didn't feel good about it. Like I said, because the momentum of that drive, it was too like broken up, and Texas had too much time to kind of sit back and figure out what they wanted to do. I didn't like it at the time. But
I love Chris Kleiman. I thought it was a mistake.
But you have to remember, they also botched an extra point that would have gave them the lead, and the field goal kicker missed a kick from about that same area.
Right.
So he's got that in his head too. But I'm with you.
I just think in that moment, typically when you have the less talented team, you go for the win.
And if you're on the road,
but Kansas State is they have been such a much better red zone team than Texas. And Maalik Murphy was not crisp in this game.
Oh, they were falling apart.
That's what I think you extend it there.
Yeah.
You make Maalik Murphy make some throws with the field condensed, right? That's what the overtime format is.
Yeah.
So I actually like Kansas State's odds more if they would have extended the game there. But got one play to win the football game. I get it, but just couldn't get the job done. And I think my main takeaway from this game is that Texas needs Quinn Ewers back quickly.
Yeah.
Murphy,
Yep.
a hot start, right? Pushing the deep ball. I'm on the headset telling you you're an idiot. But just some critical mistakes, some horrible throws. And Kansas State even dropped it. He had 2 interceptions. Should have been 3. They dropped one.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, weird game.
They need Ewers bad. I thought we might see Arch a little bit.
What do you take from that? The fact that we haven't at all, and it really, I mean, I know he's maybe said a couple of things about maybe they will, but if you haven't at this point.
Once Maalik Murphy threw the interception on the screen when there was no running back there, I thought we were officially on Arch watch.
He's either terrible or he's already told them that he's transferring and doesn't want to play.
Or the Manning family told Steve Sarkisian, you are not playing him this year.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't seem like something they would do, but
if he's not ready and they kind of know it and they don't want to put him out there to where he's like in a tough spot where your quarterback's been hurt. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's already been decided though that he's not playing, I guess is the point. And I don't know why.
You got to imagine Maalik Murphy's just been way more consistent than him, or else you go to him in that game with the way that Maalik Murphy was playing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Texas defense deserves credit though. I know that a lot of the errors were not exactly their fault. They got put in some bad spots, but K-State, who prides themselves in running the football in a variety of ways, they could not run the ball at all. Especially early, fell in a big hole. They had to get away from the run game. Kansas State's running backs, Warden, Giddens, they've been good. 52 yards rushing combined.
Yep.
Pretty dang good for Texas.
They were, the first half for Kansas State was ugly offensively. Ugly.
Yeah. Anything else on that game?
Nope.
Longhorns need Ewers back. Missouri went to Georgia and gave the Dogs a game. Final score 30-21. Just a really good and competitive football game. I was impressed with Missouri. And then Georgia did what championship teams do. They finished in the fourth quarter. Brady Cook had been pretty dang good for Missouri throughout this game, but the late interception to the big fella, Nazir Stackhouse, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. It was a bad decision with the football from Cook and really, really cost that team. Damn shame there was an illegal block on that return because it was he was moving. That dude was moving. But Missouri gets one last crack at it. Throw another INT, just trying to make a play. It is what it is. But Ted, when Georgia's defense needed to get stops, they stepped up and got stops.
Yeah. And Missouri found some stuff on them, and it was surprising and cool to see them move the ball and have some success and be in the fight. But every now and then, whenever Georgia makes a play defensively, it's like, oh my God, no one else looks like that.
They look insane from a height, weight, like a measurables, a physical build. Whoa.
And like what strikes me is the speed and the way they close on the second and third level. If you throw something in the flat and maybe make the first guy miss, there are incoming missiles. Like they are flying to the football with some athletic guys that will absolutely strike you. They're impressive.
But even they have trouble with a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Uh, Brady Cook did some nice stuff.
Well, whenever a good defense that has good athletes, when they're coming downhill at you, is whenever they're great. The angles are good. You can use your speed. But as soon as a quarterback breaks and now you're left running laterally, that's whenever things break down. And yeah, they can be exposed that way for sure.
Yeah, and Cook did some nice stuff with his legs, called QB run games, scrambles, extended plays with his legs until those interceptions late. I thought he played really well. Luther Burden had the long touchdown on the first drive, and then now he did roll an ankle. But then basically they put the handcuffs on him. He was what ends up with 3 catches in this one. Theo Weiss was good, 5 for 90. Yep. But and OU could use that guy, by the way. But I thought Georgia coming into the game, I thought they would try to eliminate Burden, and they paid him a ton of attention, and he didn't do a whole lot after that first drive. The last thing I have on this game. Are we sure Carson Beck's not the best quarterback in all of college football?
No. He's really good. He's efficient. He's
also huge.
Is he? I don't know.
I was watching him, and I was watching the way he moves. I was like, dang, that's fluid. Like, he looks good. He looks athletic. Let me check how big he is. 6'4", 235.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Had no clue. I texted Aaron Murray. I was like, tell me about this Beck guy. He was like, he's thick, man. But 21 of 32, 254, 2 touchdowns. He has some great anticipatory throws in this game. Got a lot of juice in that right arm. Good mobility. Now, Missouri did a nice job of getting to him. They sacked him 4 or 5 times. He was under pressure, but even when he was feeling that pressure, he was stepping in the throws, taking it in the chest. I like him more than Drake May. I think this is the only time we're going to see Carson Beck play college football. I think he's going to be gone. I think he's going to be the second quarterback off the board. Maybe at the very least. Yes. I think Caleb Williams will probably still be first. And I think just from watching Beck, I think he's the best pure passer if he comes out. I think he processes well. I think he's got a big arm. He's got the size. I think this is the last time. Enjoy him now, because I think he's going to enter the draft. Yeah. Unless I guess some Georgia booster could come out and say, no, you're coming back for another year. Here's a lot of millions. But I think he's that good. I think he is being slept on as a prospect.
Well, he's in that position where it really doesn't matter what he does unless he loses them the game. The credit's going to go to that team being a defensive team, right? I mean, I think that's what's going on here. And here's the other thing is they haven't been any big noteworthy games yet. People will be talking about Carson Beck, but they got Tennessee coming up.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the East, so yeah, they have to have them.
They got Tennessee coming up, obviously SEC championship game and whatever happens moving forward there, but they really haven't had a showcase position very often this year.
They've got Ole Miss, then Tennessee, finish with Georgia Tech, and then they'll have, I assume, Bama in an SEC championship game. So the marquee games are coming, and with that, a possible Heisman campaign for Carson Beck also coming if he plays really, really well in them.
Yeah. Yep.
Last thing on this game.
There's no one else Heisman right now. It's just kind of I mean, Penix had a big win, but it doesn't feel like anyone's just grabbed the thing. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. Last thing on that game. Eli Drinkowitz is doing a nice job. Dude was absolutely on the hot seat coming into the season. And he says some annoying things. There's just no doubt. But they're the number 12 team in the country going in this game. They played Georgia really well again. That team looks good physically. I think they may move up in the standings after this loss.
Might. Yep, they're way better than I thought they were going to be. Missouri seems like it's weird. I feel like it's maybe the most overlooked program. There's just something about them that you just don't. I don't know. I don't think about them a whole lot. They're not one of the names that comes up whenever you're talking about the SEC, or because they still don't necessarily always feel like an SEC team. And then I don't know. It's kind of a weird dynamic.
This cannot be debated. No one has given Georgia more problems than them over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it means, but it doesn't mean nothing.
There's something to be said for it for sure.
Yeah. Last game, LSU went to Tuscaloosa and got beat. The Crimson Tide win 42-28. Was an awesome back and forth first half. Jalen Milroe and Jayden Daniels just making all kinds of plays. I have to imagine every defensive coordinator that was watching that game, watching those guys run around and make plays with their legs, was just, I assume they had nightmares about it once they went to bed. These guys were just phenomenal with their legs. And Alabama, they outplayed LSU in the second half.
Yep.
More specifically, that Alabama defense, they really stepped up after LSU scored on that first drive out of the half. LSU's last 4 drives of the game: punt, tip ball, interception, punt, turnover on downs. Clearly, Jayden Daniels leaving with the concussion was a huge blow for LSU, and kind of felt like we got robbed of what could have been an awesome ending if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Who knows what happens if the star quarterback for the Tigers doesn't go out there, but Bama just continues to win football games.
Yes, they do. Yep. And they've just gotten incrementally better week by week. Whenever everyone saw them at their worst early in the year in one of the biggest games this season against Texas, they got beat at home, and then they followed that up with a poor performance in a win against South Florida, and everyone left them for dead. And from that point on, they've just gotten a little bit better every single day, and they're turning into a really, really good football team. And you're right, Milroe is running around, and you watch Georgia struggle a little bit with a mobile quarterback. I mean, I still favor Georgia if that's the matchup in the SEC championship game, but it's getting more and more interesting by the week.
And Jalen Milroe, he's starting to look more comfortable throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Better timing, quicker decisions. He's just an absolute nightmare as a runner. He's a jumbo running back.
He's a big, strong, fast dude.
155 yards, 4 touchdowns rushing. And what if you see them do the tush push and he just
find
just went left.
Yeah.
Just kind of backed into the end zone. It was pretty funny. But he's getting better, and I think Tommy Rees is getting better at calling plays for him. And that offensive line's been criticized this year, and they still have their struggles in pass protection. But that running game got going in the second half. Odell Williams, Chase McClellan ripping off big chunks. Milroe continued to be an absolute menace running the football.
I don't think people realize how big he is. He's like, if we had Kenneth Murray playing quarterback, with that size and speed, that's pretty much what it is.
they're looking pretty good. And Alabama, we all know how talented they are. They're getting better, and it certainly feels like that matchup between them and Georgia is looking more and more likely in the SEC championship game, and that one is going to be awesome.
Yep.
A lot of football to be played. Don't want to assume anything.
A lot.
But yeah, that one could be pretty fun to watch.